is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla in the Narrowgate Security Agency studios.
He has great respect for women. He listens to the sharp, confident women in his lives, his wife, his daughter, those who surround him in business. He listens to even Joe Bo, hockey mom from Wasilla, if I have an idea that would perhaps make sense with his conservative agenda.
Lie after lie was told about Donald Trump at the Democrat National Convention. Well, now it's time to get back to reality. Though Hillary and friends paint a much different picture, Donald Trump is very much pro-women, and more women are speaking out in favor of Mr. Trump. Today, comedian and TV star Rhonda Shear joins us to talk about her endorsement of Trump. It's a refreshing conversation with the star of Up All Night. You've seen her on Happy Days and Married with Children, in Playboy, and on HSN. Rhonda Shear coming up on Mama Grizzly Radio. Sarah Palin encourages Americans to take in a new film that exposes the real Hillary Clinton. A brand new installment of Liberty and Legacy with Tamara Colbert is on the way from Texas, and Sarah Steelman has Steel Resolve in Missouri. Welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. The Palin Update is sponsored by Narrowgate Security Agency. Learn more at narrowgate.com. And right now, Rhonda Shear joins us on Mama Grizzly Radio, the Palin Update. You might remember Rhonda from her days on the iconic USA Network program Up All Night. I certainly don't do it justice as she does. Maybe we'll ask her at the end of this. We'll see what happens. But she is also known as a model. She was Miss USA in 1975 and a spokesperson, now a comedian as well, an actor. You've seen her on Married with Children and other programs. And most importantly, a great American, a patriot, and a huge election coming up, and she has something to say about it. Rhonda Shear's a Trump supporter. Rhonda, welcome to the Palin Update. How are you?
Well, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it, and thanks for all the titles.
Well, right, and we didn't even get into your current stuff on HSN and all the wonderful things you're doing, which we will touch on. But I want to talk to you about your support for Donald Trump for president. I mean, we have so many people in Hollywood or those who work in the entertainment business. Obviously, right away, they're pigeonholed and thrown to the far left, and that's the only place they're allowed to be. One, I want to ask you why Trump, and two, have you had any backlash from your friends in the entertainment industry?
Oh, my goodness, so much backlash, for sure. A couple of times I've posted just sentiments on Facebook. I was completely trashed by, first of all, it's my comedian friends. I mean, I was kind of shocked because they're open-minded. They're comics. I mean, you know, that you have to be very open about what you speak about. So my feeling is, why can't you just have an opinion? To me, it's very shocking. I've always been a person, I grew up as a Democrat from Louisiana and voted Democrat. And I think Democratic. And I think what happens is now I'm in business with my husband, and I think your views start to change fiscally. And I think that's what's happened, or what happened with me. But still, for the most part, I usually vote candidate at the end of the day, and I listen and read everything and all sides. But I do find that my friends to the left, it seems like they don't read anything or don't want to know anything. Like they're completely closed-minded, and that just kind of blows me away. Now, I do feel like there is a group of people, a large group of people that are silent, that can't say anything because they're fearful of their jobs, and they're just fearful of being criticized. I mean, I know this for a fact within my industry, which a lot of people go on the air, on the shopping television channel. And I know that there's many people that just won't speak out, which I do understand. But I think, in my opinion, the election will be, well, I don't know who's going to win. I mean, I can't predict that. But it's going to be a lot closer than people think, because I think there's so many people that are pro-Trump that won't speak out, that can't speak out.
Yeah, a lot of people hoping to see the same thing they saw in some of the primaries, and also really what we saw in Great Britain recently, with a lot of people thinking things would go one way, and then, that silent majority, as Trump has used that term throughout the campaign a little bit too. But I've seen the same thing too. I mean, I am like you. I have plenty of liberal friends, moderate friends, conservative friends, the whole thing. But, it is true. I mean, you're getting slammed, and people don't want to talk about the issues. And meantime, here's Hillary Clinton, a person who really falls into a lot of categories that liberals have historically loathed, and here they're for her lock, stock, and barrel because, that has been the marching order. And meantime, no one had a problem with Donald Trump before he announced his candidacy for president, and now they throw these vicious names at him, racist and, anti-women, and there's no sign of any of it.
There's no sign of any of it. I met Donald Trump years ago. Actually, I was filming USA, as you said, up all night.
Oh, see, there you got it in already. I was going to ask you at the end. Thank you.
We were in the Plaza Hotel. I was with my crew. Actually, we were walking through or finishing taping something there, and he was walking through, which, of course, he owned then. And I said, "Hey, hi, Donald. My name is Rhonda Shear." And he stopped me. He goes, "I know exactly who you are. I know Up All Night." And I'd actually just done a layout, a celebrity pictorial in Playboy magazine. And he goes, "I saw the pictorial, and it was fabulous." And he was not flirty. He was really complimentary. He was really genuine. And what hit me, and still hits me to this day, is that how aware of things that are going on around him, and who, the fact that he knew who I was and just stopped me dead in my tracks and knew my name. And I'd never met him before. So I think that I think I've heard a lot of stories, I live in Florida now, of his generosity that doesn't come out, and how he's helped people silently and anonymously, and people don't know that. My husband and I we love the fact that he tells it like it is, the non-politically correct. Everybody's so terrified. Yeah, he says some things sometimes. I wish he would take a breath before he speaks, because I know people are going to jump on things. But I don't think he's a scary person that everybody that, they're trying to paint with the nuclear codes. I just refuse to believe that. I think he's a brilliant businessman, and I think he'll bring in the best people and the brightest minds in the country, to help. The thing is that people criticizing him, it's frustrating because he didn't come from politics. He's just learning this. And, I had just a little slight, myself, I went into politics when I was 22 years old. I was the first and youngest woman to ever run for office in New Orleans. And even in a smaller office, it was a little political plum. It had 32 jobs underneath it, Registrar of Conveyances, which records all the real estate transactions. But even in that small office in New Orleans, I saw what happened in politics. I mean, people were trying to buy me out of the race. I mean, my father was my campaign director, and they would call my father and try to get us out of the race and offer $10,000. So even on a small scale, so there's so much power at stake in politics at every level, and and I think Trump is learning what a dirty business it is, and I think it kind of blows him away, because I think he's a really decent person and likes things fair and square.
Well, that's a great point you make, Rhonda, because I know Governor Palin has talked about that before, that she saw just as much corruption, while serving as a mayor of a small town or serving on those lower capacities. And that's why a lot of ways when you want to get involved, you don't have to have a title, as Governor Palin has said as well. But if you do, not everybody's going to be president, not everybody's going to be in the U.S. Senate. Some of these smaller jobs in the community, you really affect everyone around you. And if you could stand up to the good old boy network and everything else that goes on, you may actually have a chance for some real change. But, going back to what you said earlier, you can't really blame some of the people who are silent, because they're worried about a lot of things. They're worried about their job. They're worried about their community standing.
Right.
I know that with me, as outspoken as I am, you still worry about your children, your family. You worry about, what a bully is going to do.
But they're supposed to be Democrats. They're the love ticket. They're like, everything. They're not. I don't. It seems like the parties have switched somehow through the years.
Well, this is not. This is not the party of John F. Kennedy. This isn't even the party of what we saw in the '90s. I mean, this is the Occupy Wall Street. Block the roadways, strip not only the Second but the First Amendment party. And if you're not far left, you're out of there. Which is also another thing I think has been great about the Trump support. Look at all the people behind him, let alone independents and Democrats. But you're also seeing Republicans from all different stripes, from conservatives to moderates, and for people to try to point that out as if it's a bad thing. That's how Ronald Reagan won. You want broad support.
They won't listen. My two brothers, we can't even speak. We haven't talked in months. My one brother, who's really outspoken, he starts calling my husband names. Just all kinds, just every name that you've heard, come out. All kinds of just horrible names. And it's like, gee, why can't you just have an opinion? Why can't you just be civilized and discuss it. And so now it's like, don't even go there. But I mean, again, he wrote something really nasty about Trump, to me in an email. And it's like, I just completely changed the subject now. So it is really hard. So I do think there is this way more people than we can even think of that are pro-Trump, that are sitting in their homes quietly. By the way, I wanted to try to have a fundraiser for him down here in St. Petersburg, Florida. I live on a street that's full of prominent Republicans and people who are very civic-minded and do a lot for the community. I did hear that there was a luncheon the other day that he attended that I didn't even know about, and I don't know how much was raised, but it was in Tampa. So, we're the Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater area. And I have to say, I've tried, I don't know if you know Tony Holt Kramer. She's part of the Trumpettes. She's one of, it's like a name that these gals came up with from Hollywood.
Sure.
Who are outspoken. They're a little bit older, and not all of them, but when I say older, baby boomer and up a little bit. And they're very outspoken for Trump, which is very cool. And they're some of the few women that I know, and the few Hollywood people that have been, just totally supporting him. So you can actually go and look up Trumpettes on Facebook, and you'll see there's Trumpettes from all over the country, and they're women supporters, and it all started out of LA. Anyway, I was just telling the story. I've tried to reach out through various channels, and I understand that maybe they would want to reach a quota that I'm not sure that I could get, neighbors and friends, but I really want to do that.
Yeah, and
down the street, one of my neighbors has had Obama for the last two elections that they've raised some money down the street. I'm like, oh, come on, let's really show them what we got here.
And Florida,
there's strong support here in our area of Florida.
And Florida's not that important of a state. No one will be watching that in November, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
right.
That would be incredible. And to see, Donald Trump embraced by those who are afraid to do so. The backlash, though, has been unreal. And we've talked about this with people on the program before, years ago, not about Donald Trump, just about any sort of Republican or conservative support. We've heard from Janine Turner and Kevin Sorbo and so many others. The list goes on and on about how, you got to think, do I want to speak out here or not? And really kudos to those of you that do. We've seen athletes also who've been trashed. Herschel Walker has been called some horrible names and barred from events just because of saying he wants this candidate. And it's funny enough, it's so hypocritical. Then you see candidates that they've bashed in the past, Bush, McCain, right, for example, who now they're using as props. Hillary's mentioning them during her speeches because she knows they're not for Trump. So it's all nonsense and teleprompter reading.
It is nonsense, and it is completely political and a game, and they will say anything, or at least in my opinion, she will, and do anything. The power that goes along with politics is just so mind blowing, and I'm not saying that either one are in for that, although it's a trip. I mean, look, I had, just having celebrity status from USA all night, I have to say it that way for you, having that status and not superstar, but cult status, and just having, so many fans and having paparazzi, I certainly got a taste of it. Can you just imagine it on a national level as a president, and how not every door in not only in the country, but in the world opens for you? So just, I don't know. I mean, I certainly have my opinions of why people do things, but we're Trump supporters, and we've been outspoken about it, but sometimes I've had to kick my husband under the table. He's even had to kick me, because we just do have to be careful, because people go nuts. I mean, again, on Facebook, I had to pull off two different posts, and then people said, I actually went out on one, and I can't even remember what it was about. It was after one of the bombings. I think it was after the Orlando bombing, and I just went ballistic, and people just are not steeped in reality about what's going on, and I'm concerned. And so I went on, and then I said, if you want to unfriend me, go ahead. And then all these people, including fans from Up All Night, they did. Yeah. I can't believe I watched you for all those years. You're completely disappointing. I was like, wow. I mean, gee, it's my opinion. It's a political opinion. I mean, it has nothing to do with, who I am as a person. I mean, I'm a sweet, kind, I'd like to believe, giving human being. And that's my opinion for many reasons. And many of them or for fiscal reasons, the way my husband and I, because it's owning a business, things change. So, but along with the fact of security, and I just feel like the other party, the party of love, has their head in the sand. I mean, sometimes I look at my husband, and his name is Van, and I say, is there something the matter with us? Are we really off?
Well, listen, Rhonda, you nailed it. And that's what they want to do. And I'm glad you said that. And, I heard one of the Secret Service agents who has written a book exposing the real Hillary and how she really acts. He talked about that the other night, saying,
I just ordered that book.
Yeah, he said how phony her speech was, but then he said after listening to it, when you get into it for a moment, you start to go, wait, is she telling the truth? Because they are such actors, from Obama to Clinton to her to the whole lineup. Oh. It's unbelievable. But that is what they want. They want two things to happen. One, bully us into submission and actually be scared, for your safety, your job, your family, your online presence, whatever it may be.
That's so interesting, because they like to turn it around and say that we're the ones who are scared and frightened, when in fact, I totally agree with you. I haven't even really thought from that point of view. It is a bullying tactic. I mean, my brother wrote such evil things, and then said, basically trying to make me be ignorant, and that's what they try to do.
Well, and
you're ignorant for not seeing this, and then you really do question yourself, like, am I missing? I'm a college degree person. I read everything.
Right. Why am I the wrong one? Right. Well,
there's something the matter with me.
You mentioned the family splits, and under Obama, this has happened more than ever. I mean, people are so divisive, and that was the plan.
I'm sorry. We never had the racial tension that we do.
No, and racial, whether it's racial, whether it's family, whether it's gay versus straight, Christian versus non-Christian, poor versus rich, they've accomplished what they've wanted to. But the other tactic that you also, touched on, and that is very important to, make people aware of, is what you just said. They want to beat that drum and say just the opposite of reality enough times that people will eventually start to say, wait, it's got to be me that's wrong, because everyone's saying it, especially when you live on the East Coast or you live in Chicago or L.A.
Right.
And who has the biggest megaphones? The media and the academic world. And this is where we're being inundated with, okay, anything middle right, bad, anything middle left, glorious. And it's put into your head and pounded into your head. And if people don't speak out, it won't change. So, hey.
It really is. I mean, I read the New York Times sometimes, and I'm like, I can't even believe what I'm reading, and I'm thinking, this is a newspaper it's the New York Times. It used to be, I mean, I just remember growing up and like with the Walter Cronkite and the Dan Rothers, like what they said you believed, and it's like, but they reported the news, and now it's like completely slanted. And it's funny because, I do watch Fox. I watch everything. I watch and I read, and my husband and I, we are completely unbiased that way. We watch both conventions as much as we possibly could.
Sure.
And so, unlike other people who turned off the Republican convention, I mean, we listen to everything. But we think that Fox, except for maybe Hannity, is a lot more unbiased than CNN. So, I mean, unless again I'm like out there and confused totally, but it's like I'm an educated person. What's the matter? But anyway, we're staying strong. We're for the Donald. I think he would be a great president. I think he's a very smart. I know he's a smart man, and the kids I love. And I think Donald Jr. will be in politics shortly, and that man's going to be a senator. He's got what it takes. And I think it's in his blood. Once you get bitten by the political bug, you get it. And I just feel like this campaign for his dad definitely it got to him over maybe all of them, but certainly him. It could be the next dynasty family. I hope so.
Well, we could certainly use people of that ilk, no doubt about it. And Rhonda, before we let you go, we mentioned Up All Night and all the other things that you've done over the years. And, people who may not know, we're talking pre-internet. We're talking, we couldn't tweet. We couldn't post on Facebook.
Well, that's the other thing.
And I'll tell you, everybody knew your show. I mean, I don't know anybody who did not. And like you said, whether you want to call it cult or, the niche program,
phenomenon.
People loved it.
I mean, it really was. I mean, it was a great show. I still have a tremendous. I mean, there isn't a day that goes by that I don't get some email or some reaching out. There's groups on Yahoo that were big fans of Up All Night, and I occasionally do a horror convention. I still get asked to do more. I just said, my husband and I have a company called Shear Enterprises, and we have our own brand of women's intimate and leisure wear, and I've been doing that now for 16 years, and we love it. I mean, my husband and I are high school sweethearts reunited from New Orleans, and we grew up with pretty much the same feelings that, you know, I mean, we were in sync then, and we've definitely both changed parties, but we feel like the parties have changed. So I don't know. It's just really an interesting phenomenon, and no one's scaring us. And I still speak out because I'm an outspoken person. And my husband actually will get going more than me in some of our social circles, and he'll just grab someone on the street, and I'm like, please let that poor person alone. but he's a gun advocate, and
Love it.
I am too, and he's all about, protecting the Constitution, which I am too. We were mortified when we first started watching the Democratic convention. We didn't see any American flags.
Oh, wasn't that great? And then they put them out because we all complained about it.
Right.
What a show.
Come on.
They bash Mr. Trump for his words, but his words are from the heart. His words are what he believes.
Right.
Whereas these people, they can't do anything without talking to their consultants and reading a script.
Right. Well, and then that's what I'm saying. Sometimes he just speaks from the heart, and then it comes out wrong. Look, like everybody does, like every human does, but they're completely scripted and completely telepromptered. And I get so angry. I do. I get so angry. I think a lot of us do, but we just can't say anything. And I mean, and look at the riots that have gone on. I mean, it's look whose side that's been on, and it's amazing how they try to blame Trump for those riots. I mean, it's just crazy. So anyway, we're gonna keep up the good fight down here. And if I can ever throw that party, it would be amazing. And I know that I'm certainly in a neighborhood with major Trump supporters. I mean, and my girlfriends and I, we talk all the time. And look, I have friends that are completely, completely the opposite of me, and I love them, and we can talk because they're really, really good friends. And so they listen to me, and I listen to them, and we don't get mad. But then there's, people I don't know as well that, yeah, you really have to be careful.
And as far as the very successful Rhonda Shear Intimates line, people can learn more at HSN, right?
Right, or RhondaShear.com, and I'm actually listed on the Trump Bet. You really should check that out. I think you'd enjoy that. You might want to interview Tony Holt Kramer, who's really big in the Hollywood community, really big, and should be really interesting for your show.
We do appreciate everybody. This grassroots movement. We've had some women's groups from Texas on the program, and also like you said, all ages from boomers and younger to college for Trump and everywhere in between. The groups are out there, and like you said, some people may not be hearing them right now, but we're hoping to hear them loud and clear in November.
Well, I tell you what, one last thing before we go is I can't say the name because I wouldn't do that, but a young lady who's very powerful at HSN on the air, and we were talking, and she said, I'm just like you, and I feel exactly like you, because she had seen a couple of my posts that they were taken down.
Right.
And she goes, I just can't say it, because she does a lot of things in show business. She goes, but this girl's young. I'm talking about early 20s, and I think that's phenomenal. So I think there's more of that than what we know about. But they're just like her. I mean, she was like whispering to me literally, backstage. So, it'll be very interesting, and all we can do is just keep spreading the word the way we can do it.
And we mentioned the catchphrase "up all night" a few times today. We want people to ask themselves, right? Who do you want up all night when that phone call comes in at 3 a.m.? Hillary or Donald Trump, the low energy Hillary Clinton, the Benghazi Hillary Clinton, or Donald Trump, who is unbelievably the Energizer Bunny and has our best interests in the forefront.
The amount of energy that it takes to run for office, and he has it, and that man has never gone hoarse during a speech. And that's impressive, because even when I speak for a good hour, I mean, I'll start to feel it. He impresses me completely in every way, and I think he'll be great. So that's how I feel, and I'd love to come back on any other time and with any other women as well. So I appreciate you putting me on the show for sure, Kevin.
Well, Rhonda Shear, we appreciate you being here, and don't sweat any of those fans you lost for speaking the truth, because I'm sure you gained a lot, too, in the process. And thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Thank you, Kevin. We'll chat soon.
For more on Rhonda Shear, check out RhondaShear.com. Hillary's America, a scary thought. Well, this past week, Sarah Palin weighed in on a new powerful film about just that. Governor Palin writing online, quote, "We snuck out to Wasila's Cinema, grabbed tubs of that buttery movie theater popcorn and big gulp sodas the left wants to outlaw, and took in the tremendously powerful new film, Hillary's America. Kudos to Dinesh D'Souza for speaking truth to power in production of this film. Watch it soon. Bring friends who may be undecided in this election. Their awakening will impact our progress toward an exceptional America or a Hillary America. Watching this documentary was so mesmerizing, catching one profound point after another, that I didn't even bug Todd to hit the lobby for popcorn refills. In supporting DJT, I've asked for nothing except the red Make America Great Again hat Trump sent my dad that's now commendably unmovable from Dad's cranium. But I will finally request something from the campaign. Please all watch the film. Absorb the gravity of the nation's situation with Democrat Party leaders deceiving voters about their foundation and intentions. Our candidate can then speak more truth to empower Americans, unquote. And you can view the trailer for this film right on the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. Governor Palin also posted a bunch of links this past week to some very important articles regarding the conventions, the race for the White House, and more. You can see all of them also on the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page, follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA, and check out sarahpac.com.
Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
Long beyond a crossroad, the future of the American Republic is at the fiscal cliff. With $19.4 trillion in debt, we were told just this week, regulatory agencies out of control, congressional executive branch attacks on state sovereignty, and a massive federal takeover of the states and sovereign citizens' decision-making process have now led us to this cliff. But now we get an opportunity to use the founders' emergency button that is revolutionary, radical, but reasonable and peaceful. And that solution is found in Article 5 of the Constitution. So before we think about this election coming up, which everyone says is the most important in our lifetime, we've had 7 years and 3 historic elections where the grassroots have led a massive coup against the federal machine because the people understand they have the power. We have the power. And that real power is going to come from the states using Article 5 to propose amendments to the Constitution, to put additional safeguards in place legislatively to get America working in the right direction again. Republicans have convened, Democrats have convened, and now I get an opportunity to share with you that the states are going to convene. That's right, the Convention of States Project. We are going to host a first ever Article 5 convention in September in Colonial Williamsburg using draft convention rules crafted by the world's leading Article 5 scholars, Professor Rob Natelson and Michael Ferris, the co-founder of the Convention of States Project. Legislators are going to be advised by former Senator Tom Coburn and our grassroots leader Mark Meckler. What's exciting is we will have legislators from all 50 states, over 150 of them, and they will be delegates utilizing the Article 5 process designed by our founders to learn about how they can become the ultimate check and balance on federal power. It's really, really going to be exciting. They will learn how to focus their efforts on proposing amendments related to the subject matter resolution that the Convention of States Project has already passed in 8 states. We're still active in 19 states, and we need just 26 more states in order to call that convention. Now, forget the Democrat convention. Forget about the Republican convention. If you want to know the real convention, the Convention of States Article 5 convention is going to be the one that is going to really take America to the next level. I'm a grassroots activist by heart, and the Convention of States resolution is called a subject matter resolution, and it calls to impose fiscal restraints on the federal government, limit the power and jurisdiction of the federal government, and set term limits for its officials and members of Congress. Folks, that includes the judiciary. No more lifetime appointments to the bench ever. as this activist that I have been for 7 years, there is nothing that I want more than the full restoration of the rule of law and the Constitution. My own governor here in Texas, Greg Abbott, said in January, when he endorsed the Convention of States Project in Article 5, that this was the only peaceful way to regain self-governance and independence in our nation. And he's not the only one endorsing us. I have to say thank you so much to Governor Palin and Todd for so quickly understanding this is not just a legal and constitutional solution, but an absolute moral solution for being the right way to fix America. Because we know Washington, D.C. will never limit its own power or fix itself. And I thank Governor Palin for her many Facebook posts and some of the commentary where she has given us a shout out. She has encouraged people to join the Convention of States Project. But she's also mentioned that the Convention of States Project is the only solution where the people have the voice, working side by side with state legislators through the process. And folks, we can't hope in a person. We all learned how that worked out for us, didn't we? The will of the American people with a burning desire to remain free and independent is the only way we will save America. We must unite, not necessarily under a Republican banner or a Democrat banner, but as under the American flag. The one thing we can count on is the size and scope of the federal government is not an issue that either of the presidential candidates seems likely to address. If the issue will be addressed and solved, the only way it's going to happen is by the people of the United States to do it. And more statesmen and constitutional experts are stepping up to urge citizens and state legislators to use this tool before it's too late. Do you know? Well, maybe you don't know, but the last time that we tried to convene an Article 5 convention was right before the Civil War. And I mean weeks before that first shot rang out. It was too late then. It's not too late now. But those who have endorsed us, besides Texas Governor Greg Abbott, are American economist Thomas Sowell, Senator Marco Rubio, South Carolina Congressman Jeff Duncan, and more, like Senator Tom Coburn, who is a senior advisor with the Convention of States Project. Mark Levin, he talks about it all the time. We love him. Mark Levin is on our legal board. Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, Governor Mike Huckabee, even Governor John Kasich thinks Article 5 is the only way to go. Governor Bobby Jindal, Colonel Allen West, and of course the Palin family, and Bristol. And speaking of Bristol, I need to say congratulations on getting hitched to Dakota. May you both be blessed with a lifetime of happiness and health and success. May you never listen to what others think, and may you have God over every part of your relationship, both together and individually, because it is only God who will bring you that success and that happiness. And may you be filled with love and liberty, as I know you already are. And hey, Bristol, maybe you could talk with Dakota about the Convention of States Project and ask him if he wants to join our Veterans for Convention of States board. We're going to have some heavy hitters on that, and we're going to be making that announcement right around the time of Veterans Day in November, and I can't wait, and we'd love to have Dakota to be part of that. My dear friend, Mr. Kevin Scholla, knows how to reach me. But in all seriousness, we love you. We wish you the best from the Colbert family for that lifetime of happiness and raising wonderful, beautiful kids. Everyone, thank you for joining me for this segment of Liberty and Legacy this week. May you be blessed, and may you continue to think and pray for America to be blessed. Join me at theconventionofstates.com. You can tweet me this week at Tamara Colbert, hashtag Mama Grizzly Radio. Have a great week. I'm Tamara Colbert for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. Now our weekly commentary, Steel Resolve. Here's Sarah Steelman.
Thanks, Kevin. The Associated Press reported this week that key restrictions on Iran's nuclear program imposed under a secret add-on provision in the Iranian agreement will ease restrictions years before the 15-year deal expires. This advances Iran's ability to build a bomb even before the end of the pact. According to the document, Iran can start replacing its mainstay centrifuges with thousands of advanced machines in January of 2027. Centrifuges churn out uranium to levels that can range from use as reactor fuel to much higher levels for the core of a nuclear warhead. Because these new machines are more effective, they will allow Iran to enrich at more than twice the rate it is doing now. The AP reported that based on a comparison of outputs between the old and newer machines, if the enrichment rate doubles, that breakout time would be reduced to 6 months or even less if the efficiency is more than double, a possibility the document actually allows for. The easing of restrictions on the number and kind of centrifuges means that once the deal expires, Iran will be positioned to quickly make enough highly enriched uranium to bring up its stockpile to a level that would allow it to make a bomb in half a year, should it choose to do so. Just as I and many others suspected, this deal is no deal at all for the United States or Israel. Perhaps, if Donald Trump becomes president, we can dump this dangerous deal. This is Sarah Steelman for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy and Steel Resolve, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, and at Sarah_Steelman. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Sarah Steelman, Tamara Colbert, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Rhonda Shear, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Narrowgate Security Agency. Visit narrowgate.com. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lori Ann Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update right here on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.